Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Om. Salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. Welcome to also today's 13th class in this second series of Mantra Yoga. Habitat of the Divine. There has been this persistent search of the divine. We live in two worlds. Obviously, the external and the internal. The external is this outside world. So, what we have is, that's a representative image of everything outside. Trees, plants, birds, animals, etc., everything, cities and landscapes, everything. We live in this world, but we also live inside. That's the mind. And this is where all life lives in these two worlds, the external and the internal. The internal is as real as the external, and the external is as real as the internal. There has been a lot of discussion on idealism and realism, etc. And it has confounded people. Somebody dismisses the external as irrelevant, unreal, and somebody discusses the internal as just the brain and the neurons, etc. Dismiss the internal world. But that we experience both very tangibly, and they are so inextricably linked to every experience that we have, is indubitable. But there is another order of reality which is called the mystical. The mystical is actually the basis of both the internal and the external. The mystical, I'm not talking about these kind of mystery things, okay? People love mysteries. But it's more superconscious, supernatural. The very basis of the gross outside and the subtle world. So this is where both these two worlds meet in this mystical world. Okay. And people say, what is a mantra? The mantra is a mystical formula. You're going to plunge into the world which is there, the foundational to you and to everything through this mantra. So, that the more you repeat it, the more you retract yourself from the external world, then you retract yourself from the internal world, and then you plunge into the mystical world. This is the idea. Now when you say the habitat of the divine, where is the habitat? We have been searching for it. In the old days, we had this theism. People said, here there are these gods and various gods, and then people did not like this idea of theism, they put monotheism. And monotheism had this one problem: God intervenes in the historical narrative of human beings, as if human beings are the only things that are there in this world. No, but God comes and intervenes. He upsets your plan, because he has got a divine plan, whatever, he or she or whatever. So this has created a lot more theological problems. And most of the religions have this common sense view of one God, no other gods. Yeah, that's a better way of eliminating all competition. But then we had deism, saying, yes, there is a supreme God, but the God does not intervene in this world. That was the intellectual, you can say, movement in the 17th, 18th centuries, when the idea of kind of a nosy God is eliminated and kept out there. Keep away. Then we have so many things like, can say, henotheism. All this. What's that? Yeah, there is one God. There are many gods, and these gods are all parts of the other gods are parts of that supreme God. Henotheism. But I feel our long journey to understand the habitat of the divine has been marred by these kind of stupid theologies. Pre-theological, you can say, conceptions of God are better. Like, take for instance, animism. Every bird and plant and beast and animals and trees and everything had a spirit. It was ensouled divinity. It was animated. So our bodies and our minds, and even speech and even all works, had this anima. That's anima. Then we have totemism and shamanism, etc. But animism was, you can say, the old idea of fetishism, that every object has some kind of magical property. Okay. Now the word fetishism it means differently, but then in the old days it was. So we have been trying to find out the habitat. The first thing is, does God exist? Yeah. And the second is, where? Obviously, we want to find out, where does that rascal exist? Creating all this trouble. Okay. So I'm in a lighter vein, of course. But these two questions have always troubled the human mind. And even those who don't believe in anything extrasensory or super sensuous, even they stop and think, what is the goal of life, or what is life, or where will it end, where it is all begun? These very questions actually arise from that old bedrock of our existence, the mystical. It is not dormant, it's always there. So it brings rise to all these questions. So now you say, you have two questions. One is, does God exist? And what's the habitat? Well, it's simple. In the mantra yoga, it's just that these questions will never arise. One who practices the mantra yoga will never ask this. Why? Because the mantra answers these two questions. Where does God exist? In the mantra, there is an old conception of the name and the named are one. It's always like that. You cannot have a name without the named. Something has to be designated. And every mantra is mystical in nature. It's not, the meaning can never be unraveled by semantics, or you can say logic, or anything. Never. That's the reason why we are asked to put faith in that. Now, the mantra is the locus, the habitat of the divine. Well, but we have been hearing of the heart being what it is, the divine, the place of the divine. What is this heart? Is it a spiritual heart? Yes, not a physical heart. So how do you go down to that spiritual heart? That spiritual heart is in the realm of the mystical. So you have a layer which is the body, including the physical heart. Then you have something called the emotional heart or whatever. No? We're not even talking about that, these two hearts. There's something deep. The heart is the core, the very center of your being. that center of a being is there inside. Okay. Now you've got to enter into this core of your being through a mantra. But you just said that mantra is a habitat of the divine. Well, it is the goal as well as the means. Yes, it encapsulates a tremendous amount of knowledge. Knowledge of what? Of everything. If you can slowly, through your repetition, uncoil that sleeping energy, that knowledge, you will have knowledge of the very foundation of this world. Okay. Everything that is there in this world, okay, you will find, is nothing but a manifestation of these mantras. Because there is something called vibration. Every sound has a vibration, level of vibration. And you find that all objects vibrate on a certain frequency. This whole universe has a particular vibration. So this whole universe, as it were, has emerged from the very primeval vibration in the mantra. Okay, that's a great deal of, you can say, things we want to unpack in the mantra. But how do we unpack? How do we get a knowledge of the habitat of the divine, the nature of the divine, the nature of this universe, the nature of my being? Everything comes down to this very thing, just a mantra. So this is, now it may be in any language, but what happens is when these first mantras were intuited, they were intuited as sounds emanating in this universal space, as well as the space of the mind, as well as the space of consciousness. So we have these three spaces: the external space, the internal space, and the space of consciousness. Okay. So these mantras used to reverberate, as it were, in all these three spaces: the space of consciousness, the space of the mind, the universal mind, and the external space. The universe is located in space. It has to be located somewhere. So that's what it's called, time-space, both these things together. So you, by your repetition of the mantra, keep on drilling down, as it were, using it as a means to plunge down deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the very heart, your heart. And you will find that your heart is not just your heart, not your core. It is the core of the universe. You have come down to the root of the universe. You have come to the root of all existence. And this is what happens as you keep on repeating and repeating. So you exit the external space, you enter the internal space, and then you plunge into this. And then the mantra is awakened. And this is what happens. There's a kind of, it constantly repeats itself. There's no more need for any effort in repeating this mantra. It repeats itself because it has found the foundation of the primeval vibration. So long it was kind of separate, and now it's. Now any mantra will do well, technically yes, but to speed up things, there are certain mantras which gives you a lot of happiness. If you want happiness, go for that. If you want pleasures, go for that. And if you want liberation, go for this. So these are Shiva mantras, and there's a Devi, that is Shakti mantras. There are mantras for this and that, hundreds of things. There are Satvika mantras, Rajasika mantras, Tamasika mantras. But sometimes there comes a mantra where it encapsulates many aspects of the divine, of the habitat, and of the universe. And that is, today's mantra will be, okay, this is the goddess, Saraswati. She is the goddess of learning and knowledge and arts and sciences. All knowledge is her. Okay. She, before opening any book to study, we were trained like that. Repeat her, salute her, and then open the book and read. Okay. You know, Sri Ramakrishna says that Mother is the incarnation of this goddess Saraswati. Saras is knowledge, so one who has knowledge. This goddess is a very ancient Vedic goddess. There was a river called Saraswati, which is subterranean now. So the ancient Indian civilization is called a Sindhu Saraswati, the Indus and Saraswati civilization. That was one of those, you can say, civilizations where on the banks of this river, people used to meditate and bring out the secrets of this universe. So for our practice today, we are going to use this mantra. Remember, those who have their own mantra, which they have been initiated with, will repeat this mantra. Those who don't have it can use this. It's a provisional mantra. It is you can say, bedrock of all other mantras that can give you liberation and knowledge and power, spiritual power, of course, nothing else. Sublimity, grandeur, everything. Okay. So let's have a look at the picture. So this is her. This is yeah. So all musicians also worship her, and all sages also worship her, and every student also worships her. Yeah, she's kind of the universal mother. So the mantra is Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Now, there is a seed mantra which I have not included in this, because this mantra itself is sufficient enough. Okay. Now, Om, there is an Om. This is a universal mantra. This is the sound of the universe. Okay. Its complement is Saraswati, knowledge. It gives us knowledge. And then we have also Namaha, salutation. So salutations to Saraswati. Om, salutations to Saraswati. That's the better way. Okay. Now sit down straight, please. And square your shoulders and keep your neck straight. And close your eyes. And relax all your muscles on your face. Keep a half smile on your face. It's not going to be a torture. Become aware of your breath in the nostrils, please. Now take a longer inhalation and a longer exhalation, slowly. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep on repeating this exercise, please. Now join the thought, I know the in-breath. I know the out-breath. Fine-tune your awareness. I know the in-breath. I know the out-breath. Now feel the heart thumping in your chest. Now behind that thumping feeling, visualize a golden ball of light. Now from that golden ball of light emerges the mantra. You're becoming one with that repetition. Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Gently, slowly, softly repeat that Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Feel that sound emerging from that golden ball of light. Plunge your awareness in that golden ball of light, please. While you keep on repeating the mantra. Go down even deeper. This is your mystical dimension. Become one with that golden light. While you repeat the mantra, Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Okay, take a long deep breath and slowly open your eyes. Om, peace, peace, peace. I've extracted you quickly. You've got to do it in stages, the way you went inside. Okay, just it's a kind of a note. The steps you took to go inside are the same steps you take to come outside. Well, here we are. So once we understand we are in touch with a real being, then we can understand our mind in all its layers, as well as the external world. Then you will not ask, where does the divine inhabit, or does the divine even exist? This knowledge will be unraveled to you through the repetition of this mantra. So, to sum it up, the mantra is the location of the divine as well as its very nature. And that divine is non-different from you. Don't try to put the God in some heaven or something like that. You might as well bring down that reality here. And this has been the bane of human search for the reality. We cut ourselves away from that and distance ourselves. Once you can bring it back in, you can become part of it, then you can really understand it. So I have a feeling that all these theisms and monotheisms are all a big, you can say, blunder of the human mind. And we need to take these corrective steps. And the corrective steps, of course, is Vedanta. Long time ago, we just discarded those kind of pernicious theologies that separated us from God and the world. So the three things, God or reality, you, and the universe, are three parts of the same reality. Nothing to do with Trinitarianism or Unitarianism, nothing like that. It's just, they are the same thing. Okay? Om, peace, peace, peace. So time for questions. It's all thank you all the way. Okay. Yeah. If a sadhaka while doing mantra sadhana has completely calmed the waves of the mind and is completely absorbed in the process, how far he or she is from perfection? The perfection comes when the subject and the object merge. There is no object and there is no subject, as it were. It's all one homogeneous mass of consciousness. So you will never say, I am perfect. Never. Okay? Or you can say, I am imperfect. That you can say. So, if you can completely calm the waves of the mind, you will be able to see the bottom of the lake. That's what the whole process of yoga is. Okay? So, calm the mind. That is the means of perceiving the reality. It's not very far. I can tell you, you're not very far from perfection. I mean, the perfection that is. What is the seed mantra for Saraswati? Oh, it's Aing, yes. Like we have Om, okay? That is the impersonal, you can say, sound of the reality. When that same reality is seen in the sense of the creatrix, that is called Aing. So Om and Aing. Saraswati Namaha Swaha. That's a good one. But if you are not been initiated properly, I would advise you not to repeat it, because the pronunciation is everything. So if you mispronounce, you are kind of delaying your own progress. It will be corrected. It's self-correcting. Even if you mispronounce it, later on, the real, you can say, pronunciation will flash in your mind. But it's better that you hear it from someone who knows about it and gives it to you. Why is it that I can't chant my Guru Mantra without chanting Om Namah Shivaya? First, I feel so good when I do my japa in this manner. Else, okay, Guru Mantra. Okay, listen. There is no hard and fast rule that you can do it. You can. But if you have faith in the mantra that your Guru has given you, that faith will make you feel that the Om Namah Shivaya is also embedded in this mantra of mine. That is the idea. So you don't have to chant it separately. There are some people who are given 2 or 3 mantras, but the idea is to narrow down your focus to just one mantra, make it one-pointed over and over and over, because too many mantras will distract you. So keep it simple. These are mystical syllables and they should be chanted with dedication and focus. So include all the gods and goddesses in that mantra of yours. So it becomes easy. Who is Ishvara Koti? Oh my God. Well, Ishvara, as you know, is the reality, the sum total of all the names and forms and attributes is called Ishvara. That is the cosmic person, okay, in its gross, in its subtle, as well as causal aspects. Okay, that's Ishvara. The Koti is one who comes down. These are ever free souls. Their mission is always to come down with an incarnation. And this time with Sri Ramakrishna, 6 of them came. So good for us. More the merrier. So they push the spiritual, you can say, energy that's released by the incarnation all over the place, at all levels of the universe. So there are these Ishvara Kotis. This is a very old concept in the Sankhya philosophy called Adhikarika Purushas. But we don't need to go there. So just remember, Ishvara Kotis is one who is an eternal associate of the Lord. Now we are called Jiva Kotis. That is the class of souls that are born in the mundane ways in this mundane world. Okay, those are divine births and divine beings. So that's the difference. Okay, when I sit for meditation, legs start to pain after half an hour. Oh my God, you're not the only one, my dear. Okay, so you start exercising. That helps, obviously. And when you sit down, try to keep the weight of your body on the spinal cord and right here on the ribs. So You don't have to sit down in a way that you put too much pressure on your legs, on your knees or your ankles. So sit down, that's the reason why you're asked to sit down straight. So when you're centered like that, there's less, you can say, pain in your legs. And in time, as you keep on meditating, that will kind of take care of itself. Which quality is a must have? A mantra aspect. Which mantra aspect? Oh, nothing. Dedication. Your commitment. You must be committed to do that particular repetition day in and day out, not for 1 week, not for 1 month. And if you have to die in the attempt, then it's better you die in the attempt. So, a kind of a grit. You are not going to let go. That is what is constant kind of repetition. Those who want to, okay, third eye, that's tomorrow anyway. You come for tomorrow's, okay. I occasionally experience a blissful state while meditating that leaves when I finish. I sometimes anticipate this feeling when I start meditating. Is it wrong to seek this? Yes, it's wrong to seek this experience of kind of intoxication. That is a kind of a spin-off from your meditation. Try to focus on the divine. And secondly, what happens is the intoxication does not leave you completely. Yeah, kind of. It persists. Suppose you finish meditation, that is the kind of an intoxication that you think that is dissipated immediately. It doesn't. It persists for a while. And as you get deeper and deeper into meditation, that intoxication will persist for a longer and longer time, maybe for half an hour, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours after you finish meditation. Then you will find you will have that intoxication for the whole day. You meditate in the morning and you meditate in the evening and you're blown. You heard of the blown up. You're in that kind of divine haze, but not any kind of. We are in California. You see, everything is kind of legal here. But this divine intoxication is what an aspirant actually enjoys. He sees everything through that divine kind of haze, that divine intoxication. That's very important. So it will run for a while. You cannot stop anything suddenly. The momentum takes you for a few minutes and hours, or sometimes more. Okay. Om, peace, peace, peace. In the name of the Lord, Hari.